Hi, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to day 2 of the Manifesting Makeup Artist Bootcamp. Yesterday was amazing, to say the absolute least. Hold on, I'm going to take a drink of water. Yesterday was absolutely amazing. It was really magical. The energy was awesome. A ton of you guys showed up live, and also a ton of you guys watched the replay, so it was really awesome. Hi, Jasmine. And so it was really, really awesome to connect with so many of you, especially across like the entire world. It was insane. Like there's people from Australia, India, UK, tons and tons of different states across America. It's really amazing. We've got people in Canada. So we've got people from all over the world, which is really, really cool. I love it. Hello. Hi. So very exciting. Yesterday, we talked all about mindset, which essentially so many of you guys shared your takeaways from yesterday. And you're basically, I feel like the most common takeaway was the acting as if. That's what I kind of gathered from all of the people that did the homework, not the homework, the challenge for yesterday to enter for today's prize giveaway. Hello, hi Veronica. So Veronica is asking, she sent a message in the group. You upgraded for the rates handout and I don't know where to get it. So Veronica, you should have gotten an email. Make sure that that email didn't go to your spam folder or something like that. I'm going to write your name down to make sure that I follow up on that. It's basically once you essentially upgraded, you immediately should have gotten like sent an email between ClickFunnels, which is where that like whole process goes through. You should have immediately gotten something from them. And then you should have also gotten something from our email provider, ConvertKit. So there would have been several emails that you would have gotten that from. So I will double check that for you. But before I go like all out on that, please like just make sure that all of your spam folders, your promotions folders and all that kind of stuff, it's not somewhere in there. Yeah. So I will write your name down and I will follow. I'll come back around for you, Veronica. Cool. Okay, yeah, if you may have to check your deleted folders or something like that. If not, it's a simple thing. I can just like send it to you. But double, because there should have been 3 total emails that you should have gotten between like the sign-in information, a confirmation. It's technically 2 confirmations and then a sign-in information email. So double check all of your email. I know with emails, you guys, it can be really crazy, especially with Gmail. Gmail is really finicky. If you have a Gmail account, Veronica, I don't know if you do. So check that. Hold on, I'm going to, oopsies, wait, not that. I'm going to turn all of my notifications off. I thought I did that earlier, and I didn't. So anyways, all right. So, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Is that Sabrina? So somebody says they like my hat. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that compliment. Yeah, see, Vivian said that her email went to Gmail, the spam account, like the spam folder. It's also sometimes in promotions tab. It's really strange. It's really annoying. So thank you for chiming in on that, Vivian, because I know email, it's a whole thing now. But anyways, moving on. I am so excited to get ready for day 2. So I was saying the biggest takeaway was acting as if. So I was really excited to see you guys talking about your biggest takeaways and what you got out of it. And, kind of seeing what your guys' aha moments were with the mindset portion. And the mindset, we used to do the marketing portion first and then mindset, but I switched it because we have to like really get down and dirty with the mindset first before we can start even talking about what we're going to talk about today, which is self-promotion, boosting your confidence, networking, and all that, and just marketing in general. You have to get down, all of the, I guess you could call them insecurities that we have when it comes to marketing, aka self-promotion, because we're all we all have to self-promote in this industry. Like, you know what I'm saying? No matter where you're at, if you do bridal makeup, if you do TV and film makeup, if you work in the fashion industry, or if you work at a salon and you do like lashes and things like that, we have to do self-promotion. And I think the biggest thing the biggest obstacle to get to the like being comfortable with promoting yourself is getting, really zeroed in on your mindset. Oh, thank you, Vivian. Yes, and the mindset is important before anything else. It really, really is. So mindset, I'm always like, I love talking about it so much. I could talk about it all day. So I'm so glad that we had that with day one. Now, so a lot of you guys did the challenge yesterday, whether that was through YouTube. Some of you guys did the Instagram story, and then a majority of you guys did the challenge thread inside of the Facebook group. So I have the winner. I'm going to share what the prize is for essentially yesterday's challenge. It is access to my men's grooming course. And basically that men's grooming course, it's about a 4-module course as of now. It's going to be expanding soon. All about men's grooming, the do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, products, processes, things like that. And obviously men's grooming is like my strongest point. And so I love teaching on it. So this person that's going to be the winner will be getting access to the men's grooming course as well as a free Instagram audit. So you essentially get the Instagram audit that is the upgrade that I've been talking to you guys about it's part of the prize. So the men's grooming course and an Instagram audit from me. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner from last night's challenge. It is Elite Rothstein. So congratulations, Elite. It's so awesome to see her. She's actually been a part of our challenges for years, like many, many, many years. And so I'm so excited to have her winning last night's challenge. She is such a go-getter. She's such an ambitious artist, and I love being able to see her growth. So congratulations, Elite. I am so excited to share that you are a winner. So I will be sending you all of the information, your login information and everything after this session. So I will get all of those details from you as soon as possible. So yay, Elite. Congratulations. Okay, so today, day 2 is all about marketing. So I'm going to go over, I'll be going for about an hour, and then around 6:15 Pacific time. It's so weird because like I'm on Mountain Time, and so right now it's 6:09. So it's like, it's weird to say that. But basically in an hour from right now, I'm going to be bringing on Christy Tagatac, and she is going to be talking about some of her experiences throughout her career and Create Safely and the PockitBook and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be exciting. She's going to be with us for about 30 minutes. And then after we have Christy, then I'm going to wrap up with just a tiny bit more of just like just a couple like tidbits after that. And then we will announce the day 2 challenge as well. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so just getting all my notes already. So if you guys don't already, definitely make sure you get your workbooks out. Those workbooks are really, really nice for note taking. If you're more of a you want to take notes like something like this, you can't even see that. That works too. Either way, that workbook has a lot of good information in it. A lot of resources at the bottom, at the end, links to the upgrades that I've been sharing with you guys. So it's like directly, you don't have to like go searching for it in the Facebook group or anything like that. And then also in those workbooks are journal prompts for you to do each and every night/day, depending on when you're watching this. And those journal questions are really, really, really expansive for your self development and your growth. They're very strategically and intentionally put. So, and they're really they're positioned so that they really get your mind thinking and opening yourself up to getting rid of blocks and all that kind of stuff on like an inner development level. All right. So definitely make sure you do that. Did you guys let me know in the chat who filled their day one workbook out? And, you know, if you had any aha moments, I'd love to hear about it. They're really, really deep questions and questions that I have come across over my self-development journey that have really, really helped open my eyes to just different things that I never realized were bugging me or that were hindering my growth and causing subconscious blocks and things like that. So definitely make sure you fill that out. Okay, so today, like I said, is all about self-promotion and marketing. So in the chat, once again, let me know who kind of struggles with self-promotion. Is there like, let me know in the chat how you feel about self-promotion. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Feel free, you know, to rate how you feel about it from 1 to 10. 10 being you feel 100% confident, 1 being like you're like not confident at all. Awesome. Vivian says journaling has changed my perspective of who I am in this moment. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it as well. Awesome. Someone says 10. I can't, it's so hard. I don't know who says 10. I'd be interested. Let me know in the chat who said this because I can't see your name. I'd love to know who feels 100% good about self-promotion because that's awesome. That is very, what's the word? Admirable. It's very rare to come across anybody that feels 100% like I feel great about self-promotion. So I always love when I come across people that really do like feel like they're 100% good to go on that. Self-promotion is my demon. I definitely feel resistance to share about me, especially on social media. Yes, I understand that. Oh, Nell. Okay, hi, Nell. I'm like a 7. My issue is feeling like I'm bragging, but wanting to share what I love with others. And I understand that 100%. It's hard, isn't it? It feels weird sometimes if we're not super comfortable talking about ourselves. And, you know, essentially, especially when it comes to like your rates and exactly what you do. And the thing is, and I'll get into this later, what I was saying about really honing in and focusing in on what it is that you want to do and why, meaning, and the why is your success rate, like, I'm sorry, your definition of success. That's going to be your why, right? When you really get that down pat, the confidence behind you promoting yourself is so much like greater. And you don't feel as icky or weird or awkward when you're promoting yourself because you know why you're promoting yourself. You know what you're good at, you know what you're not so good at, and you're promoting more of what you're good at. Does that make sense? So Jasmine says, and then you don't share people. And then if you don't share people, keyword people will assume you're not accomplishing anything. Reading that out loud sounds weird. I'll have to read that in my head in a second. Feeling like I'm bragging makes me so uncomfortable. I understand. Just so you guys know, it's taken me years to like, anytime I've ever done these types of workbook, boot camps or webinars or challenges, the first part about me like explaining who I am and what I've done, it's always been really awkward for me. And it wasn't until recently that I really defined like, why am I doing this? Why should people feel comfortable taking a class or a boot camp or a challenge from me? And it's like, it's taken a really long time for me to feel comfortable being like, hey, I'm Amber. This is what I do. And this is what I've done. Just so you guys know, I usually like don't even scratch the surface of the things I've done because I get that feeling of you don't want to brag. You don't feel like you don't want to feel like you're bragging. I get that because I'm the exact same way. But it is the only way that we can make money is if we talk about our services. The other thing you have to remember, I'm totally getting ahead of myself here because I'm reading the chat. This is why is why I shouldn't read the chat because I start to get distracted. But I'm going to get in that later. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to share this in a second and like get to it. But anyways, it's self-promotion for artists is very commonly one of the hardest things that a lot of us come across. And I feel like we would, as a whole, like the industry as a whole would do so much better if we all felt 100% like Nell with self-promotion, right? There's a reason why, there's a very small percentage of people that are like making a lot more money, getting all the jobs and stuff like that. It's because they're comfortable putting themselves out there and they don't have that I don't want to say insecurity because I don't want to say that they don't have insecurities because we all have insecurities, but they don't feel insecure about promoting themselves, right? And like I said yesterday, it's like a muscle. Self-promotion is like a muscle. Self-promotion is, you have to do it consistently and show up consistently, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes a pattern, and then it just becomes second nature, right? So that's something to keep in mind as well, okay? And this is 100% one of the most common obstacles that I have come across that artists tend to say that they struggle with is self-promotion. They feel icky about it. They feel awkward. They procrastinate on it. They don't want to feel like they're bragging, so on and so forth. And personally, I still struggle with this, but like 5 years ago, I was really bad. I hated talking about myself. I still am not really that like eager to like share everybody all of my things that I've done in my career. But within the last 5 years, I've done a lot of self-development, going back to that mindset piece. I have worked on why. Why am I not okay talking about what my success is? I've worked on the ad campaigns of American Horror Story. That's big. Why would I not share that with people? I've worked with really big A-list celebrities like Vince Vaughn and Christian Slater and Carrie Elwes and like all these really big male celebrities. Like, why wouldn't I want to share that? That's great. And a lot of people get excited, but for some reason I internalize it and assume that people are going to think I'm just like crazy, bragging, arrogant bitch, right? And remember the snake concept before 5 years ago, or even more recent, like within the last 2 or 3 years, that's not something I would have been like super excited to just like start talking about, right? And it's because I assumed the other person in the room or, a setting like this, people would think that I was arrogant or a bitch or that I felt that I came off like I was better than anybody, right? But the thing is that's in my head, that I'm creating that reality in my own head, and therefore I'm stopping myself because I'm assuming how other people are going to react, when the reality is 9 times out of 10, people aren't going to react that way. It's about the delivery, right? So the last 5 years, I've really worked on that. Why am I not okay with that? Why am I not okay with, going on Instagram and talking about how I am available for the next few days, or talking about my services? When I meet somebody, my boyfriend and I love going out and having fun and going on adventures and things like that. And we come across a lot of people. We meet new people all the time. I actually love like networking and stuff like that in person. So that's something like I feel 100% on. I don't have a problem with. But talking about my services is like, yeah, so here's my card. You know what? I'm on Instagram. I'll just, and like you put your business card back in your back pocket or something like that. For whatever reason, when it comes to like self-promotion, especially when it's like in the exchange of money, like here is my card. This is how much I charge, whatever. Or it's always associated with something that has to do with your career, which AKA equals money, right? It's weird. It's a weird, like, I don't know what word I'm trying to find, but it feels weird. It feels icky. It's like the whole concept of like, you don't want to come off like an icky car salesperson or whatever, you know what I mean? You don't want to feel like you're selling. But there are ways that you can get around feeling that insecurity that we tend to get into for those of us that do struggle with this, so that when we are talking about our services, our availability, our rates, so on and so forth, our courses, memberships, whatever. I know a lot of you guys, products that you guys sell, all of the above, just basically there are tons of ways that we can beef up our confidence and boost it up before we get ready to do something like that. And it's all about boosting your confidence at the end of the day. And sometimes in order to boost your confidence, you have to really go back to day one and get that mindset straight. You have to really dig in on why. All right. So sorry. For those of you that said that you do struggle quite a bit with self-promotion, networking, promoting yourself, or I know that's self-promotion, just in general, like sharing what you do and that you have services to offer or products to sell or what have you. For those of you that did say and share that you do struggle with that, my goal by the end of today is for you to feel a lot better and a lot more confident and not so intimidated to do self-promotion, because that's the biggest part of our success. So you've got the mindset aspect, but if you don't have the marketing right, you can work on your mindset all day. You can literally go in a room like I do all the time and just meditate and do all these really fun manifesting. I'm obsessed with it. I've tried so many different techniques. It's kind of like a hobby of mine, if you will. But if you do that all day, but you don't take action, aka the marketing aspect and putting yourself out there, your success is going to be just not nearly where it can be. The point, you'll be at level 3 instead of your level 10, right? Because you got the mindset, you're starting to work on the mindset and the manifesting and all that kind of stuff, but you're not working on the inspired action, the action taking. Marketing is the action taking. It's part of the action taking, right? So my goal after this is for you guys to feel way better about that particular subject in that particular area. Okay. So my question to you guys is, what causes you to feel the lack of confidence? Why? I know some of you guys said, self-promotion is a demon, or that you feel, like you are bragging, right? So what is it about that makes you feel that way? Why do you feel like you're bragging? Why do you feel like it's self-promotion is a demon? Did are you scared to come off the wrong way? Like you're arrogant? That was my thing for the longest time. I never wanted to come off feeling like I am better than other people. And just so you guys know, going back to that inner mindset and where these thoughts and processes come from, remember what I was saying, the success blocks and the money blocks that I shared with you last night about with money. For me, it was growing up hearing my parents say, we don't have enough, you can't get that, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to the self-confidence and the self-promotion and me feeling like I don't want to come off arrogant or come off like I'm suggesting that I'm better than anybody, it's because I worked with somebody that was that, and I hated, I did not like that person. However, her delivery was arrogant. There's a difference with saying I'm a badass men's groomer. I know I'm good at it. This is something I'm passionate about. I've done so many men's grooming services that, I feel very confident in it. I've worked with a ton of men. I've done a ton of haircuts. I've done grooming. I've been on a ton of ad campaigns specifically for men's grooming. I've worked with A-list celebrities, male celebrities. So yeah, I feel confident that yes, I offer a men's grooming course. Yes, I have high rates for my men's grooming. Yes, my haircuts are really high priced. I feel confident in that, right? However, there's a difference with me saying what I just said and me being like, oh my God, I am so good. I'm so good. So, yeah, I'm a men's groomer. I don't know if you know this, but I've worked with Vince Vaughn. So you probably should really listen to me. Okay. Like that's a different delivery. That sounds arrogant as fuck. And I've met plenty of people that that's their demeanor when they say things like that. But when you're talking about your services and you're excited, right? You have to remember that in order for people to even know that you offer these services, you have to talk about them, right? It doesn't mean that you're bragging about it. It's just you're talking about the fact that you do it, right? So that's something I wanted to bring to the table. Remember that self-promotion is not arrogant. Self-promotion is not icky. It's not salesy unless the delivery is off, right? And I think 0% of you have an arrogant delivery. I really, really feel that. I don't feel like any of you guys have that sense that I just kind of gave you. There's a difference, right? Trust me, the lady that I worked for that caused me to have that like insecurity and like never will I ever be like that. She was insane. She was really mean and extremely belittling and demeaning when it came to like the things that she's done. And so I internalized that and I like just never promoted myself because of it. But now that I've done all this inner work and I'm like, why would I not talk about my services? Why would I not share with everybody like the thing that I love? It's a disservice to not only myself, but to other people, like to not share what I'm passionate about, right? Because I'm very good at men's grooming. So like let me share that with everybody so I can share my passion with more male clients. Like why wouldn't a dude that I would, that I want to work with, why wouldn't he want to work with me knowing that like I'm so passionate about it? Wouldn't you say that like you would much rather go get your hair cut by somebody that's super passionate about it and is really good at it versus like someone that's like whatever, right? So that's just something to kind of like take and run with. Okay. And a lot of the times it tends to come from this feeling of not feeling good enough. That's a big thing too. It's a very common block and insecurity that a lot of people tend to have, which is like you don't feel worthy. And I'm going to bring this back to feeling worthy of posting and showing up on things like social media, meaning I don't want to post this photo or whatever of my portfolio because I've been looking at Instagram for so long and now I feel insecure because X, Y, and Z have much better photos on their portfolio. So now I feel really insecure. There's that. That's the piece of like, I don't feel worthy of like, I'm not good enough, especially when you're at the beginning of your career. You're like, my work is nowhere near that person, this person, and that, whatever. So you're comparing, AKA you're feeling less than, AKA you're feeling unworthy. Those are, I would say, the two most common things is feeling like you're coming off arrogant and also not feeling good enough to post about your availability. Sometimes too, you get insecure about posting your availability because it makes you look like you are not busy or that you're not getting work or something like that. Our minds are really powerful. We trick ourselves. Literally, it's the whole snake concept. I'm going to keep coming back to that. We're creating a reality in our head, a story in our head, and we're reacting off of that story before even anything happens, right? So, so that's like something I wanted to talk about before I get into the actual actionable steps that we can take. Okay, I'm going to be going over LinkedIn, Facebook, and majority going over Instagram, like tactics and stuff like that for marketing. But I wanted to share that piece first because if you feel any certain way about self-promotion, you want to get that out of your system first before you actually take action on what I'm going to share with you, because it's going to be a lot and it's really amazing information. But if you feel what I was just sharing with you, if you really feel that, like, you got to get rid of that first before you do the next piece I'm going to share with you. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a moment to read the comments. I had to like X out of it because I was just like getting so distracted. And I know we're like on a time crunch right now. Uh, 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 um, okay, I'm confident in promoting myself, but I also listen to others to where I don't like talking about myself all the time. I am very humble and listen to others to where I cross promote others as okay, yeah, I love that. That's really awesome now. And that's the thing. It's like being humble, that's kind of basically what I was saying is be humble about what you're doing. Don't be like a bitch, right? Or like I didn't want to get into it. I could literally go on a whole little like downward spiral with that. Yes, Jasmine says we psych ourselves out. I was brought up to believe that being humble and don't tell everyone everything as people will think I'm full of it. I understand that concept. I was brought up that way as well. Like, kind of be humble, like just kind of listen, don't talk kind of thing. We have to be our own biggest supporter. Yes, exactly. I love that. I'm going to put that in the thing. Jasmine says, we have to be our own biggest supporter. I understand that now. So yeah, that's perfectly said. I love that. For me is because I'm starting and I don't feel professional enough and I tend to compare myself with others. Yes, I understand that. That's how I was there too. Let's see, exactly when I see other portfolios, I get nervous about posting my own. Yes, it's intimidating. You guys, just to remind you guys, remember this, and this will keep all of us humble. There will always be somebody that's better than you. There will always be a better men's groomer than me. There will always be, someone that's better at putting boot camps together than me. There will always be somebody that is better than you. Why? Because we're all on a journey, right? When you get into the union, just so you know, when you step your first day in the union, somebody's on their like 2,566 day. So they're that much further than you. There will always be somebody that has more experience than you, has better skills than you, so on and so forth. And it's just because we're all at different stages. So when you remember that, you also are better than others below you that are either just starting out or that maybe don't have the same skill set as you, right? You're always there, like, not everybody is a makeup artist or like can do what we do. So you're already above all those people, right? But even more so, like in the industry, there are people, just so you guys know, I am terrible at winged eyeliner. I guarantee you probably 95% of you guys can do a better winged eyeliner than me. You're already like surpassing me, right? Just because I've been doing makeup for 13 years and I teach about like this type of stuff does not mean that I'm better than you guys at doing a wing eyeliner. You see what I'm saying? We all have what we're good at, our strengths, our weaknesses. There will always be something that is better than you, and there will always be people that don't have as much experience as you that maybe like with your personal strengths, right? Remember that. So when you get ready to post, you don't feel that like insecurity because typically we're comparing ourselves to 1, 2, maybe 5 specific people. And it just so happens that maybe they practice more than you. Maybe they've been doing it longer than you, so on and so forth. You see where I'm going here? So don't stop yourself from posting because you're comparing. Okay? All right. So true. We're all participating in this bubble. Even if there is someone who is better than you, that's where there's room to grow and learn. Exactly. We all will learn more. We can all learn more. I love that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the actual like marketing piece. We're moving on from like the mindset stuff officially. Okay. So we're going to talk about ways that we can market ourselves. So we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Those are the main ones I'm going to talk about today. There is not enough time in the day to go over all the other ones like TikTok and Clubhouse and all that kind of. There's just not enough time. There's barely enough time for me to do these 3. Okay. So what I want you guys to do really quick, I'm going to ask you a couple questions and whatever comes to mind first, feel free to type it in the chat or just think about it. Okay. When you think of the most popular burger spot, the most popular burger, hamburger, cheeseburger chain, what do you think of? Most likely, most likely you think of McDonald's, right? What do you think of when you think of the biggest, most popular soda brand? It's going to be one of two. It's either Coca-Cola or Pepsi. And I ask these questions because there is a reason why you thought those things, those, main places. The reason why is because the marketing is always in your face. McDonald's, you guys, do you know how many, I've been on so many road trips this past year, it's not even funny. And the amount of billboards that McDonald's has on like any given road, whether it's a highway or like just a regular old road, McDonald's has so much money in marketing. So like the money aspect is like, we'll just like push that to the side. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the fact that you see a billboard consistently every so often miles, because McDonald's are just everywhere, but they place the billboards everywhere so they can consistently remind you, McDonald's, 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 McDonald's. You want a burger, you want a Dr. Pepper, you want some fries, you want a McFlurry, you want Coke, like whatever it is like that they're promoting. You want a McRib. They are in your face. Same thing with Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They are everywhere. In every single movie, there's always some sort of drink, and it's like, the Pepsi thing right here. It's like, it's called native advertising, actually, is what it's called, in product placement. But that's besides the point. My point is that when you're consistently seeing these things, it reminds you, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm thirsty. So think about your favorite, let's see. I don't even know what to say. Basically, like your favorite influencer that you're following right now. Influencer meaning like somebody that you follow that you really gravitate towards, like someone like James Vincent or someone like Lisa Eldridge or anybody. Like maybe you're into the gaming world and there's an influencer in the gaming world that you're really into. And when I say influencer, that I'm covering the concept of somebody that influences. I'm not talking about the like tisk influencer that a lot of people have started with. That it's like I don't really find it a problem, but a lot of artists have like poo-pooed on like the whole concept of like Instagram, YouTube influencer. I'm talking about like the true word of like, influencer, that somebody that influences you in a very big way. It could be somebody in the mommy, world. And my sister is like huge. She follows all of these stay-at-home mothers, and she learns about all these different diapers and all these different things because she has kids. So she follows influencers in that world. Whereas like I follow like men's grooming and like barbers that are like influencers in their own right. See where I'm going with this? You see them and you probably gravitate towards them because they consistently show up. Okay, so here's the thing. The whole reason why I had that entire concept and gave that entire example is to showcase to you the importance of consistency. Consistency is the secret, okay? Just so you guys, I struggle with consistency, okay? Like I'm gonna be super honest with you guys. I am always super transparent with everything I do. If you want a ton of success, if you want to raise your rates, get busier, get more booked, get your dream clients and up your rates and all that kind of stuff, consistency is everything. How you show up in your life with almost everything that you do is how your life will show up for you. I'm going to repeat that, okay, because it's worth repeating. How you show up for your life with whatever it is that you desire, your life will show back up for you in a mirror. Okay, so if this is you and this is your mirror, your life mirroring you, and you're like, me, your life is gonna be like, me. right? But if you're like, yeah, I'm going to show up, I'm going to post, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to send emails, trust me when I say your life will show up for you as well. It's the whole universe. It's the way the universe works. The way that you show up for the universe will essentially reciprocate that to you in the form of success, money, love, whatever, right? Okay, so when we show up consistently on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're, TikTok, if you're in that like world, trust me, things just doors open. It's insane. And I have proof of this because not only have I seen other makeup artists show up consistently after something like our boot camps or our challenges or a lot of the inner circle members. Anytime the artists consistently show up with the marketing strategies that I'm about to share with you guys, I always get messages saying, "Oh my God, I got the biggest job of my life. Oh my gosh, my Instagram following has skyrocketed. My engagement rate has gone up, so on and so forth." Showing up, like, just so you guys know, the whole like with Instagram, when you consistently post reels, Instagram is obsessed with consistency, and people that show up consistently for a certain period of time, they're like, hell yeah. They just like push you to the top, and then all of a sudden you have like 50,000 followers or something like that. It happens all the time. Same thing with TikTok. We're having Anita Aguilar tomorrow. She's going to be talking to us about her journey with TikTok and how she went from I don't even know how many. I don't want to say a number because I'm probably going to be wrong, but she within like a couple days went from whatever she was at, like probably under 5,000 followers on TikTok. She's skyrocketed to 150,000 within days. And now she's like on the cusp of 300,000 followers on TikTok. She shows up more than anybody. She is a beast. I admire her so much. She's like, I want to like, okay, like she's the person that I look up to when it comes to showing up consistently. She's amazing. So when you show up consistently, basically what you're doing is the whole McDonald's concept that I was bringing to the table. You're reminding people that you're a makeup artist. You're reminding them that you're available. You're reminding them that you are a working artist and they can hire you, right? Okay, so Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook for a second. There's a lot of ways that we can promote ourselves on Facebook. The biggest one is your groups. Facebook forums, Facebook groups, whether that looks like being a part of a group like this, where there's other fellow makeup artists. This is going to be a short-lived Facebook group, just so you guys know, but something like, trying to think of ones that like I'm a part of, like Assisting Rules, for those of you that are kind of just like at the beginning. That's a really great Facebook group. I don't remember exactly the names of them. There's so many. Just search Facebook groups like Makeup Artistry. There's another like Session Stylist that I'm a part of. And inside those Facebook groups, trust me when I say, if you're consistently interacting with people and you're commenting on people's, their threads, and you're building relationships, and, you're building that trust with other fellow makeup artists. Trust me when I say, and it happens. There's actually there's like a handful of makeup artists that always tag me in things that are like job posts, because inside Facebook groups tend to have a lot of like last minute jobs that they're in need of a makeup artist for. And the amount of times that I've been tagged is like, it's mind blowing. And I know for a fact that the reason why people think about me is because I'm always showing up on Instagram. I'm always showing up on Facebook and sharing my portfolio and sharing, what I'm doing in my Instagram stories, that I'm always on their mind. So they're like, oh yeah, Amber does men's grooming. Oh yeah, Amber does natural makeup, whatever. They need a natural makeup artist. They need a men's groomer. Tag Amber. So when you are, just starting in the Facebook group world, just showing up and commenting and interacting with everybody, that already puts you at the top of their mind when things like that happen. Okay. The other thing too with Facebook is your personal page. So just a way to optimize your personal page. If you guys saw, I don't know if I could show it. The way that my personal page is set up is on the banner. Hmm, there's a lot of I don't think I can show it for weird reasons. So basically what I did, so in the Facebook, on your like Facebook page, you have your profile photo, right? That's one thing. But then you have your like the photo that goes on the back, like kind of like your banner photo on the back of your Facebook, just like the regular profile. You can optimize your Facebook account by putting together some sort of graphic through Canva. That's my favorite, just through Canva, that states like what it is that you do and the reason why. This is a secret. The reason why is because when you're going into these Facebook groups and you're interacting with people, you're engaging with other artists and other producers and directors or brides to be, like so on and so forth, that are looking for services that you might be able to offer. People are going to your profile, trust me when I say, and regardless if your profile is set to like private or public, they always, no matter what, they always see your profile picture and then that background banner, the Facebook banner. So by optimizing that experience, that process, what you would do is create some sort of banner that says your name. It says what you do, like just right now you can literally look at my personal profile, like click on my little like profile photo, and then it'll take you to my personal Facebook account, like my profile, and you'll see behind it, it has like 4 or 5 of my best men's grooming photos. It has, men's groomer and makeup artist, has like the city that I work in, and then it has like my website or something like that. So basically I'm showcasing my best work. I am showcasing what I do and a way to look at more of my work, which is my website. That's how you can do it for yourselves. So that's like a little Facebook promotion hack that's completely free that I think every single one of us should be taking advantage of. Okay. Second is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like the best place to go. So like Facebook is about creating relationships. That's why Facebook was like why it came about as a whole. Is so people could really, connect with one another and befriend one another, right? So it's completely social. It's about creating connection and friendship and that kind of stuff, right? And conversation, we'll say. LinkedIn is literally, it started for like professionals only. And it still is professionals only, but like this is where it's like the entire concept of LinkedIn is to get jobs. Where like Facebook, it's, you're sharing the things that you like, you're sharing what's on your mind. It's a little bit more personal, right? LinkedIn, it's starting to go that direction because they needed to update and like keep up with the times. But LinkedIn is pretty much the only platform that is really like sell yourself, promote yourself, reach out to people for jobs. It gets a little tricky when you cold call or cold message, we'll say, somebody saying, "Hi, I'm Amber. I saw you in the Facebook group. I would love to work with you someday. Okay, like hit me up." Doing that where you've never talked to the person in something like Facebook or on Instagram doesn't really work. There's a very low percentage of that success rate. Whereas in LinkedIn, you can do that and it's totally, I don't want to say acceptable, but you'll have a much higher percentage of somebody responding to you saying like, yes, we actually need somebody. Yes, I would love to keep your information. And the reason why is because LinkedIn is literally for work. Does that make sense? So the best way that I have utilized LinkedIn that I like to share with you guys is whatever you are trying to pursue, whatever direction you are going in the makeup world, whether it's with fashion, TV, film, it could go for like bridal stuff and lashes and like salon world, but not as much. So like bear with me for you guys that are kind of more in like that space. But with LinkedIn, anytime that I have wanted to work with a specific brand or like a specific PR agency or anything like that. What I do is I go on LinkedIn and I search, like, for example, Nike arts director, like Nike art director. The art director is usually the one that hires the team. Sometimes it's the photographer if he has like, if he's like really big and has that like say. Usually it's the art director though. So looking up the art director, if you're wanting to do stuff like ad campaigns, print, things like that, you could look up the brand dash art director dash photographer dash events or something like that. And then you can do that with pretty much anything. You can look up producers, directors, photographers if you're wanting to work with specific photographers, or if you just want to connect with those industry crew members, right? And what you do is you connect with them, and then once you connect, if you have just the free version, once they allow that connection to happen and they like click accept, then you can send them a message and just be like, hey, I'm Amber. I've been doing makeup for 13 years. I would love to work with you. Here's my website. Here's my IMDb. Please call me whenever you need me, right? It's a little off-putting when you do that immediately with something like Facebook. And when I say immediately, I'm saying there's no conversation beforehand. LinkedIn is the only exception that it works really well in that platform to do something like that. Nowadays, people hate it when you immediately are like, here, call me, I'm available. Like, it just, unfortunately, just doesn't work that way. It's odd, but each platform has its purposes, right? Okay, so I'm trying to talk really fast because we've got like another 25 minutes before we bring Christy up. And Instagram is like the biggest one. We might go over a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so that was LinkedIn. Now let's talk about Instagram. Instagram 100% is the best way for us as makeup artists to grow and to promote our services. Why? Because Instagram, going back with the whole concept of why, like what each platform does and its purposes, Facebook is to connect with people and build trust and likability and relationships and community and all that kind of stuff, right? LinkedIn, purpose. The platform's purpose is literally to connect professionals with one another for job opportunities. Instagram originally started by being solely a photo visual platform where you share your photos. Instagram stories kind of changed that, and Instagram TV kind of changed that with video. Video is huge, really, really big. However, think about what it is that we do. If you are in the bridal world, by God, you should be taking before and after pictures of your brides. Photos. In the just TV and film world, the fashion world, showcasing your portfolio, aka your photos. And if you work in like motion picture, like film, TV, and commercials, sharing those videos, it's all visual is my whole point here. So Instagram is huge for us, like really, really big for us. And if you're not taking full advantage of that, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay. And going back to what I was saying at the beginning, consistency is everything. So when you show up on Instagram, I would like to explain or like give the example that, remember with the McDonald's thing, you have the ability to do what McDonald's does, which is show that, billboard as often as you possibly can by showing up on your Instagram stories and on your your main feed. You have to remind people that you are a makeup artist and that you are available and that, you do whatever services that you're offering. So here's the thing with Instagram. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to get too over my head or over anybody's head here because there's so much information, but showing up on stories consistently is the best way to really build that trust with your potential clients and dream clients. All right. Consistently posting is also really good, but it's more so about like when people come, like say for instance, they find you on a hashtag, your portfolio or like your main feed, your posts are what they will look at. Trust me when I say the amount of celebrities that have looked at my profile to determine if they were going to hire me or not is astronomical. Okay. So I make sure that my feed, my main feed, the post, my portfolio, those photos are 100%, 110%, we'll say. Why? Because when somebody comes to you or they hear, word of mouth is huge in our industry, right? So when they're like, oh, go check out Amber Tallarico, here's her information. They always, 9 times out of 10, will look at your feed and determine if they are going to hire you based on your feed. Okay. And then also in your bio, that's a big one too, right? Your bio is huge. I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of the bio in a second, but you want to have a solid Instagram grid or Instagram feed, just your main feed on your account, because they make a decision off of if they are going to hire you or not. I know for a fact because my agent literally told me this. Okay. And sometimes when you're working with like celebrities and stuff, it's more they're like PR people, but a lot there was actually I worked with Carrie Ellis for a film. And if you guys don't know who he is, he was the blonde, like the main guy in Princess Bride. Total dreamy guy, and he's like just as dreamy in person and now as he was in that movie. And he told me personally that he was the one who, because I department headed this particular movie, he was the one that chose me because I interviewed for this particular position. He literally looked at my portfolio and was like, I want her. So don't for a minute think that like when brides are looking you up, they're looking at your portfolio. When somebody's trying to hire you for that movie, that TV show, that ad campaign, the celebrity that's trying to get some, a makeup artist for the day, whatever, they're PR people. They will look at your main feed. So please don't take that lightly. Make sure that your feed is like, woo, it is on fire. Now, going back to the Instagram stories feed, the only Instagram posts don't it's like 1 to 3% of your followers will see. And then if you have really good hashtags, that percent might go higher depending on if you get on the explore page. I don't want to go too deep into that and get all, because I have a whole entire 4-week program on that, and it'll take me a long time to really like talk about it. But when you do your stories, it's a higher percentage of people that see. I'm not entirely sure why. But like, for example, you might only get like 32 likes on a photo or something, but then over 200 people saw your Instagram story, right? It's a little weird. It's a numbers game. But anyways, the thing with the Instagram stories is that when you consistently show up on Instagram stories, what Instagram does is they're like, ooh, Amber is just on fire. She's showing up. She loves our app. And here's the secret. Another secret for you guys. Each platform, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, blah, 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 all of it. When you show up a lot and consistently and you're active, the whole thing with each platform, they want every user to be on their platform for as long as humanly possible. So not only do they praise the people that are consistently showing up, but they also praise the accounts and the people that are putting out content that like basically keeps other, aka their followers, on the app as well. Okay. So for example, say for instance, I put out an Instagram TV, which is no longer IGTV. Long story with that. But say I put just a video out, right? And it's really intriguing. And I've been posting consistently on my stories and posting consistently on my feed, and the numbers are up. Instagram is like, hell yeah, we're going to reward that bitch and we're going to go ahead and put her on the explore page and just blast her. They reward you for that and more people will see you. So instead of it being 1 to 3%, they're like, let's go ahead and just expand that for Amber because she's the queen now. Does that make sense? So when you're posting on Instagram consistently, Instagram loves that. Now, let's talk about the experience of the people you are trying to get hired by. When you're consistently showing up on Instagram, You know, when you go to your Instagram, like as the user, like you are on your own Instagram account, there's like always the same 5 people that are in the first 5 Instagram stories that you see at any given time. It's because they probably are doing a lot of Instagram stories consistently. And you also are consistently consuming that content. So Instagram's like, woo, here you go. Like, go ahead and watch her stuff because she posted some new stuff and we're prioritizing her because she's been consistent and has great content, blah, blah. All right. So that's what happens with you when you are consistently posting. Now, when you are in the process of trying to grow your book, trying to manifest those dream clients, just get booked in general, whatever. When you're showing up consistently and then all of a sudden you start offering your services, they're going to see that first. And also, when you're showing up every day or ish, saying, I'm available, I'm a makeup artist, here's my portfolio, this is what I do, you're always reminding them that you are a working makeup artist and they will think about you when they need you. Trust me, it's a whole psychological thing. It's complete human psychology 101. All right, so here's an example. Well, I'll get into the bio and then I'll tie this all together. Okay, so let's talk about the bio for a second. With the bio, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because this is going to be a little hard for me to explain without, let's see. Okay. We'll look at mine so you guys can see. Okay. Let's share my screen. Share screen. We'll do the window. Okay. You're going to see the back end for a second. Okay. Can you guys? Can you hold on? Okay. Yeah, you're seeing it. I'm like, okay. That really tripped me up for a second. Okay. So this is my Instagram account. This is my bio. All right. So I'm only going to give you I can't really go into detail. We're running out of time with a lot of the bio hacks that I have. However, the biggest one that I have used and it works 100% of the time, and it also has worked for other makeup artists that I've shared with in the past, several months or years or whatever. This is a really, really awesome hack that's changed the trajectory of my personal freelance career. This right here. So first and foremost, really quick, I'm going to try to say this as fast as possible. You want to really optimize this part of your bio. Seriously, make sure it is without a doubt known to the person that is coming to your profile what you do, okay? And where. So just to put this out there, I don't have the location of my on mine right now. And the reason why is because I had this and because the bio has there's 160 characters that you can use. So that is taking up the space for now. But right here, so you'll want your, essentially your name, right? And then you also want to showcase where you are located. You don't ever want anybody to guess where you are. And second, what you do. All right. So that's that. Now, this is the biggest tip that I have for you guys. So please take notes on this. It has changed my life and it has changed a lot of other artists' experience too with getting more work. This particular section, when you go to edit your bio, there is a section that says title, and I'm pretty sure that's what it still is. It says title. That is where you write this. It's completely separate from this particular area. So I put my name, just my first name. I personally have my first and last name as my handle. If you don't have your first and last name as your handle, that's fine. I personally suggest to do that so there's no question about your name when people put you on a call sheet or anything like that. I've heard some horror stories about literally people being written a check according to their Instagram handle. So I just make it as simple as possible. So what I have here is my first name and then this little whatever that, I don't know what that is called technically. And then I have men's groomer. So here's what happens when you optimize, because the bio is a whole thing. With Instagram, you see this search thing, this little search, keyword search right here. Basically, what happens is when you type anything in that search, it becomes Instagram's search engine. You can look up people by their name, by hashtags, by keywords like men's groomer. I'm going to go over that in a second. By location, which is why I say location is really important, and just keywords in general. So if and when somebody is looking for a men's groomer and they type in men's groomer, my account is one of the top 5 accounts that will show up. The reason why is because not very many people have this right now. Okay, and especially if and when there is a and especially when there is a location attached inside your bio. So say, for instance, somebody is looking for a men's groomer in Denver. They would, put Denver men's groomer. I would show up immediately. I'd be the first one. If I put, because I still work in LA every once in a while, if I put Los Angeles and Denver, in this bio, anytime somebody would look up Los Angeles men's groomer, you bet my name would come up. I have had so many people find me through hashtags by looking up men's groomer. I can't even count anymore. So that is a really, really big way for you to come up in your own keywords when people are searching for your particular services that you offer. All right. And then next, just another thing that is amazing about this particular hack. Sorry, my bracelet. You guys, ADD, I can't. So I get way too distracted. The really cool thing that happens when you have this, it's your title. So whenever you direct message somebody, that is what shows up. It used to be your Instagram handle. So say, for instance, I'm talking to Sabrina in direct message. What it used to be is amber.talarico, and then it's like maybe showed a preview of what I was saying or something like that. When you look in the like DMs section, I don't want to open my DMs because if there's any like personal messages, like I don't want to expose anybody, but basically that's no longer, it's this. So anytime that somebody direct messages me on my personal account, they see Amber men's groomer. So what this is doing, it's all psychology. When I'm talking with other makeup artists, when I'm talking with other producers, directors, photographers, say for instance, I am, going on other people's stories and I'm hitting like different emojis because I'm reacting or I'm responding to their own stories and things like that. And it's in the direct messages, like it shows up as a direct message. They're seeing that. So what this has done for me is people always think of me when the word men's groomer comes up because I'm consistently being seen in their direct messages as Amber men's groomer. Does that make sense? So trust me, you guys want to take advantage of this seriously. And if you have a long name, just make sure that your name is in your Instagram handle and then the title just put, bridal makeup artist in Louisiana or something like that, whatever it is for you. You can also kind of take advantage of this because this is like I forget what it's called, but you can choose that's like the category that you're in because like there's categories. So you can be in entrepreneur, business owner, makeup artist. They also have one for hairstylist. But the thing is you're in the pool of every other person that's using that category. So get creative. And just so you guys know, it doesn't do you any good if you have emojis in there, if you have like makeup magician, like nobody, I mean this with as much love as possible. Nobody's typing the keyword makeup magician. Like your typical person that's not in the makeup world doesn't think of those keywords as like, oh, I bet there is somebody that calls himself makeup magician. Okay, cool. Same thing with if you have your first and your last name here. Most likely, you don't have, you're not this like massively famous person. So they're like, oh, Amber Talarico. she sounds like a men's groomer, right? Like most of the time that's not the case. Now, the only time that that would be the case is if somebody gave like a verbal referral and they're like, "Oh, her name's Amber Tallarico, she does men's grooming." First of all, nobody knows how to spell my last name. Just putting that out there, okay? So, if you are in the boat with me about having a hard first or last name for people to spell, trust me, they're not. They probably found the other Amber Tallarico that's in New Jersey, because there is an Amber. I forget what her middle name is, but it starts with a C too. Like we literally have Amber C Tallarico on our bank statements or something. I don't know. She's in New Jersey, spelled the same way, everything. So this helps significantly with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. We've got just a couple more minutes. Let me show you. Awesome. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that so you guys can't. There we go. How do I get rid of that? Stop screen. There we go. Okay, so that is what I have for you guys as far as the Instagram. So no matter what, no matter where it is that you're showing up, consistency is everything. Consistency is key. So if you're showing up, trust me when I say it's like the McDonald's analogy. You want to be McDonald's. Don't like not actually, like, McDonald's is pretty not so good for the body, but you want to remember what McDonald's is doing and the purpose and the intention. And I mean, it's gotten them really far, right? So show up. Be excited about what it is that you do. Trust me when I say the more excited that you are about sharing what you do, it is hard to say no to that. And you will get those dream clients when you are just expressing how excited you are about the services that you offer. Don't ever, be afraid to be excited about things like that. You should be excited. And if you're first starting out and you don't really know exactly what that is for you, you will find out. You will find out. I have no doubt. I'm going to look at the comments really quick. I haven't looked in quite a while. Hi, Kay. In my kit. Oh, yeah, in my kit. Yes. In my kit. That's one. Artist Arsenal. Yep, that's good. Artist Kit Company. Yep, those are all Facebook. I'm not a part of any of those, but definitely check them out. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Veronica, really quick, said that she had her portfolio and her highlights. That's a whole other thing that I don't have time to get into and I go in depth with in my 4-week program, but highlights are really awesome. And what highlights can do is, say for instance, you have like you do men's grooming, but you want to showcase that you do men's grooming, but like say for instance, it takes a really long time for somebody to scroll on your Instagram page to get to men's grooming. Because trust me when I say, if you claim that you do men's grooming and it takes way too long for somebody to scroll through your Instagram to find men's grooming, they're already checked out. They're like, all right, bye. Where is it? Unless, you do get the person that come to your website. Websites are so important. And when I say website, I'm saying you buy your domain and it looks nice and everything, because here's the thing. I'm sorry to get off topic, but when you have a website, it is a lot easier. Like if somebody looks at your special effects stuff, your men's grooming, it's all categorized in a very specific way. Highlights can do that to an extent. So if you like with mine, I also have like highlights and there's like my men's grooming, beauty, blah, blah, blah. So that's a really great way and a really great hack for you to make sure that when people come to your portfolio, or I'm sorry, your profile, that if it's taking them too long to scroll, because trust me, people get impatient, they can go to your highlights. And if they can't find it there, we hope that your website is on your bio as well, and they can just click there and find it that way. Veronica's laughing at my makeup magician. Thank you. Solid advice. Okay, love this. I use my first and last name across the board and all platforms so that people can find me right away. I applaud you on that. I am all for that. Yeah, my first and last names confuse people. Yes. My last name is so common, which is why I use Moon instead. So there you go. That's cool. Like the cool thing that Jasmine just said is I will always know who Jasmine is because she put Jasmine Moon. So she's already doing exactly what her intention was, which is become memorable by her name, right? You just have to be careful when you get something a little like way different, more like a channel name, like the whole like what YouTube kind of started off with, like say for instance, I changed my Instagram to like Men's Groomer 1818, right? People will be like, "Oh, it's Men's Groomer 1818." Like how many of you have like followed somebody like on YouTube or Instagram or even TikTok and you don't even know their first name, but you're like, "Oh my god, that's Men's Groomer 1818." Like if I would have seen that person in real life, I'd be like, that's Men's Groomer 1818. You know what I'm saying? So just to put that in perspective, you want to you should be proud of your name. And if you want to go with something more like what Jasmine is, which is like Jasmine is her first name, but she wants to kind of like have a little bit more of a twist to it, and so like a little bit more memorable, like something like Moon. Veronica says that drives me crazy when I don't even know the real name. Just so you guys know, just to put this out there was somebody that's been following What It Takes for years, and I don't even remember like what her handle was, but I remembered her handle and only her handle. And she came to the podcast release party back in February of 2020, and she came up to me. She's like, "Hey, Amber," let's just say her name's Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth, and I was like, "Hi. What's your last name?" And she was like, "Oh, my last name is this, but my Instagram handle is blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, just so you know, like it works for all purposes. Like you want people to be know your name, but also like put a name to a face, right? So right, okay. But yeah, so I hope that you guys kind of got a lot out of this. There is so many techniques and so many strategies with Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and I just kind of scratched the surface. But no matter what, build that confidence before you post. A little tip for those that have are a little bit more self-conscious about putting their work out there. Maybe you're just starting, maybe you do have that whole comparisonitis thing, whatever that looks like. Just do something that lights you up before you do it. Does that make sense? This is my last bit that I'm going to share before we bring Christy up. So excited to have Christy. And basically, like for me, so for example, like sometimes if I'm really nervous about a post, or I'm like, I don't know, I'm like procrastinating or whatever, what I'll do, because I'm obsessed with singing and dancing, is I have a playlist that I like to play on Spotify that is very intentional with the way that the tracks are set up, that like boosts me up and gets me really amped up. And specifically the song Gonna Make You Sweat by C&C Music Factory, like, the everybody dance now, that song, y'all, if that ever comes up on at a club or something, you better watch out, because moves will be seen like you've never seen before. I love that song. So that song lights me up. And basically what I was saying yesterday about raising your frequency and raising your vibration to get excited. Trust me when I say, people feel that when you post it. Whereas like if you post in like it's all energy. So, and it also just gets you excited to just do it. All right. Liz Lemon. Yes. Someone says that they love that song. It's like my favorite, like, hyphy song. It literally gets me excited every single time. If and when the time comes for like in-person seminars and retreats and stuff like that happen, that song will be played at mine. All right. So gonna get you guys excited for that. Once it's a little bit more like, not so crazy in the world. But that is all that I have for you guys. I am so excited to bring Christy Tagatac with to this boot camp for the kind of like wrapping it up. I have a little bit of things that I'm going to talk about afterwards, but I am super excited to have Christy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her up. She is in the backstage. All right. So I'm going to add her to the stream. Hello, I believe, let's see, unmute. Can't I? Okay, so it says that you have to unmute yourself. It says that you've, there, is that it?
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to
So,
how do you do comments? I don't really know how.
so unfortunately, the comments,
Yeah.
we on our end cannot reply.
No, okay, no
So,
worries.
yeah, so it's a unfortunate flaw, I would say, with StreamYard, but we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube, and that's why, because it's kind of going simultaneously.
Oh my gosh. Wow, this is really, really fancy, Amber.
Oh yeah, streaming's
Amazing.
fun. It's
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm gonna leave it up to you, and then I'm just gonna follow your lead.
Yes. So I am so excited that Christy, I was like, I hope Christy will say yes, because it'd be amazing to have her energy in this space, especially for today, because she has such a powerful platform with Create Safely. She interviews amazing artists, and she talks about organizational stuff and being safe, in the workspace now, and motivating artists on such a deep level. I'm just like so inspired by everything that she does. And she
Oh,
also has her PockitBook, the product that she's created. So she is one of like the best people to talk about marketing with, because she does it so well. So I would love to have her talk about that. But to start off, Christy, I would love for you to share with the audience and the participants where you started, how you got into makeup, like your story.
okay, perfect. So first off, thanks so much for having me, Amber. It's been such a pleasure to meet you on Create Safely. Like a lot of the people I think that are on at your boot camp, I'm recognizing so many familiar faces. Hi, everyone. Hi, Veronica. I'm just gonna say hi, Vivian, Elisa, Kiana. There's so many people that we share the same community, which I love. I think that it's so great to see that more and more. And I love what you're doing. And I'm so bummed that didn't get a chance to catch it earlier, but I got cut like the last 10 minutes of it, and I already took some notes. So I'm really excited about your boot camp. So thanks for having me. Now, in terms of my background, I know that Amber sent me some questions because, as artists, we can be all over the place. So I need to stay focused, because I, to myself, have a little bit of the all over the place. So, anyhow, so great to see familiar faces and new faces. I am Christy Tagatac, creator of Create Safely and the PockitBook. And I started makeup, gosh, early on. When I was answering the questions for you, Amber, I was like, oh my God, I'm writing a novel. So I was like, I need to narrow this down, because for all of you that are on the call that don't know my story, um, asking how I started in makeup is such a loaded question for me, because my path kind of took so many different directions, which ultimately led me to what I'm doing now, and then with Create Safely. But I started in makeup, at least loving beauty, when I was 6 years old, because I'm a first generation Filipino American, and I had two grandparents, on my mother's side specifically, that was a beautician. So at the age of 6, I actually started handing end papers to my grandma while she did perms for the community in Santa Barbara, where I'm originally from. And that kind of started my passion into the beauty industry and serving people, in terms of makeup, hair, really only hair first. So out of high school, and I won't go too far back because I could tell you, like I said, my career path went so many different directions. And I'm so grateful for all of them, because that's really what prepared me for this ultimate goal at Create Safely, and then finally creating a product. But I started in hair, not legally. I was an unlicensed, like, colorist and hair cutter. And then by my freshman year in high school, I started doing makeup, self taught. Was in college doing studio art, wanting to create, I think it was called a typographist. I wanted to create fonts for a living. And then what turned into an interview at the Mac counter. And then that's really where my career in makeup took off. And through that 16 years of working at Mac, I experienced management, leadership, training, um, how to build a business, how to drive sales and revenue, working with just different types of relationships. And in that time, I spent most of the 16 years in management. And in the 4 years that were probably the biggest years of my career there, I was a regional manager for the greater Los Angeles area, managing one of the, I think it was the number one market globally. I think it was number one volume, over almost close to $40 million a year, and managing over 300 makeup artists in the greater Los Angeles area. So after 16 years, my life took a different path. You know, things happen in your life that take you in a different direction, but the goals were always the same. And if I forgot to mention this, I always wanted to be a salon owner and own a beauty school. I didn't know what that looked like at the time, but I knew that I wanted to support our industry and work with people and support the future of the makeup and hair industry. So I left Mac after almost 16 years and went to cosmetology school because I knew at that time now that I had to get my license in order to have a salon and open up a school. So I got my license, but before I graduated, I got signed with an agency and doing makeup and hair and grooming, and got an opportunity to be a creative director as a consultant for a makeup company that's used within cosmetology school. So why I'm telling you all this is because my background then started with education, and that's when infection control and mitigating risks came into play. Because before I was a makeup artist at Mac, I mean, definitely I learned a lot of the hygiene and safe practices there. But when I went to cosmetology school is really when I learned what we call the state board way. And when I was consulting for this makeup brand, I developed a makeup curriculum for them that was used in cosmetology schools around the country that had a huge focus on infection control. And so right before, as you know, what was it, 2020 of March, the world shut down and we all took a pause. And I was about maybe just a couple months away of launching a new makeup curriculum into a salon chain worldwide. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sola salons, but I was going to, I had just finished writing a curriculum that would help salon owners add makeup services to their ticket to increase revenue and broaden their their clientele base so they could do not just hair but do makeup, right? And then pandemic happened, and then I went into like a month long time of drinking a lot of wine like I think most of us did, and trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to do makeup again? Am I going to be able to do hair again without giving somebody COVID or me contracting COVID? And then everything just kind of happened. It was really crazy. I think during that time, it was probably middle of May, actually April, because my network of people that I was, meeting in the last like 5 years, they all knew what my career path was and my goals, and they knew that I was becoming this passionate person about infection control. So I just started getting DMs and texts from people that I didn't even meet before in person that were asking me about my professional opinion about how to rebuild their kit and how, like, what to remove and what to add and what is workflow, what is like mitigating, like just really understanding the actual science behind everything. And by all means, I was no expert, but I did have a lot of education background in infection control from other companies like Barbicide, C3, you name it. A lot of those different companies I worked alongside with, working with the cosmetology school. So anyhow, I got really driven by this, helping the community and helping support that, artists and makeup artists and hairstylists get back safely. And then I started hearing all these different, you know, incorrect information. There were companies that were coming out that were, fear-based companies that were saying you need to have this technology in order to do your work safely. And so everyone was just, there was so much information and people didn't really know where to go and how to digest all of it. So I was like, I have all this information. I want to help people. I can't, I'm not, I mean, I don't know when I'm going to roll out this education with this salon chain. So I completely took a pivot. And during that time, I was invited as a mentor at these cosmetology schools to teach anything I wanted. And I created a lesson plan on infection control and artistry. And so I found a good friend of mine that I knew back at Mac, and she was doing lives, as a lot of people were, and just trying to keep busy. And I was like, God, she's so great on lives. I'm going to ask her to be like someone that I can open a conversation with and talk about ways to get back to work safely. And so that's how it all began. And I was like, create safely. I talked to my cousin who's a lawyer, and he said, look, I'm not giving you any lawyer advice on the, off the record advice. I'm telling you. I said, what do you think about the name? And he said, I think it's great because it's not specific. And we went through all the legalities of trying to establish a trademark for Create Safely. So there was definitely something more than just creating a conversation and opening an Instagram account. I really wanted to bring this education platform to life, and I wanted it to be free at the time because not a lot of us were working. We didn't have money. And so let me drink some water because I'm getting really... So anyhow, the platform was created to celebrate education through community and bring artists from all over the world to come and support one another with their ways of creating safely, because I didn't have all the information. And I knew that there were people like me out there all over the world, and they had stuff to share. And we all needed a place to have a voice because we were frustrated. We were sad. We were grieving the loss of our jobs. And I really was truly like, God, what am I going to? And then that's when the wheels started turning, Amber, about creating a product. Because when I left Mac, I actually dabbled in creating product, like trying to create some kit tools for makeup artists. Because when I was a freelancer, I noticed that there were a lack of tools for like mobile services. How do my boyfriend, who is a mechanical engineer, was like, you need to create a product. We need to create something. So we started actually designing a mobile makeup chair, something that was high end, but really lightweight, but quality, that could be carried on and like attached to like your Zuka or something. And we actually developed a couple different models. We went through all the different, my boyfriend had all these connections with overseas and American based manufacturing companies. We talked about different, like how much that would cost, what that would look like. So we went through all these different things. And so fast forward, when it came to Create Safely and trying to create something that would help people get back to work safely, it came really easily because I think I had already practiced that early on, but then I already knew, like from all my education, like, okay, what can we do? So it's just wheels started turning, and that's when the PockitBook was developed. And like any freelance artists who are still trying to build their career. I mean, I wasn't working at the time, and I just knew like I was putting all my energy and all of my heart into the platform, and the community's energy was giving back. And I just had to find a way. Like friends were like, you need to like offer this, find a way to like really bring it to, because I was using it already and in my education, and I was giving it out to artists to try it out to see if it worked for them. And they were like, wow, Chrissy, this is brilliant. You really need to do something with this. And it really wasn't until then, when I had the community that I was supporting, that was like supporting me now and saying, you need to do this, you need to roll it out and launch it. And so that's when I did it. And I think you had other questions. Sorry, guys, that was a whole lot of
No, you're
news.
fine. I
Any
love it. You
questions so far?
hit a couple. Yeah, good. Can you hear me? I think my
Yeah.
mic's on. Okay. I always turn it off so that you can be fully heard. So we hit a couple, because the other questions I had, you kind of hit on, which was what inspired Create Safely, and kind of like how the pocketbook came about. But I really would love for you to talk about the process of creating and marketing the pocketbook, because I'm sure that there's at least a couple artists that are watching right now that have, a vision for themselves, a
Of course.
goal to create a product, and maybe they don't know where to start. So like, for example, what advice would you give? Like, what are those first steps for artists that want to create a product, like in the testing phase, in the creation phase, and so on and so forth? What advice would you give for the first steps for someone to start their own products?
Okay. Well, um, I'm so happy to share this advice because you guys can learn from my challenges that I went through. But I think initially when I created my product, I was so excited about it because I knew that it was going to help people get back to work safely and feel more confident in creating and in a COVID world, that I wanted to share it with everybody before I even had launched it. Like I was like, I had a hard time keeping it a secret, if that makes sense. So if you have an idea, I would suggest, because if I were to do anything differently, and not that anything bad happened. I mean, there were a couple bumps in the road with PockitBook, because it was it was the first of its kind in terms of what we're seeing being used in our industry. Obviously we know that the binder was not invented by me. Um, that and my lawyer again. So let me go back because here's my artist brain like all over the place. So if you're writing notes, what I would do is get your idea, jot it down. Um, in my first beginning process before PockitBook, I actually created 3D like replicas of a brush holder that was more sanitary that I wanted to create, but then found that through my research, it's a lot of money. So there's a bunch of different resources. I don't have them written down, but if you're really interested in trying to launch a new product, feel free to. You can email Amber and I can give her a list if you want, and she can maybe showcase it in her training if you'd like. But there's a couple different resources I'd love to share with you in terms of um, finding financial back to get started, because obviously it takes money. Um, the other thing too is find a really close network of people that you trust that you would love to test out your product, because what better people to use it is your our industry, and get their feedback and be open to the feedback. And uh, the other thing too is if you can get a lawyer, was the easiest way for me to navigate getting a trademark, and getting things up on the ground legally with a website. Because I think when you're starting to roll out a e-commerce website, there's a lot of different things that um, you you have to look for legal reasons. And I started with GoDaddy first, and I'm actually still on it because I'm having a hard time merging to Shopify. But if you could start with Shopify first, I would go that route because that has everything in place in terms of what taxes to charge, so you don't get into weird things with your filing taxes, because it's a lot, you guys. But again, it's been such a fun journey. um, I met, and going back to networking, I met Julie. She was the creator and founder of the Well Insulated Bags, which you guys have seen all over my feed, these guys. um, I met her early on when I started, maybe about probably 4 weeks after I opened Create Safely. And I met Mateen. I don't know if you guys follow him. He's an amazing makeup artist, an amazing entrepreneur too. So if you ever get a chance to DM him, he is so innovative. He's so much experience with business and product development. So I started talking to him. He introduced me to Julie, and then Julie was somebody that started her own brand as well. And so she shared um, her information. Now, would this relationship be the same pre-COVID? I'm not sure, because I think the climate of our industry was in such a I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure you guys experienced this, but everyone was so, we just wanted to be there for each other. It was really one of those things. And I really felt it on Create Safely, where there was so much love and support that has been missing from our industry for so long. I mean, there's definitely still more work to do, but I feel really good about Create Safely and the community that's been a part of it, that we've actually been able to kind of move that community over competition in the right direction. I'm hoping I can get a hey for that. But I'm really just so grateful for that community. But going back to the product, do your research if you want to try and do something that stays within the US. I can tell you now it is very expensive here, unfortunately, to develop a product in the United States. But if you can get like funding and things like that, it may be easy, but it's a little challenging. So overseas is a lot cheaper to outsource and resource products and materials and things like that. Um, am I answering these questions okay?
Yeah, absolutely. You totally are. I love thank you so much for being so open with
Yeah.
that, because you shared so much information that I feel like I've never even come by, and it's hard. And I feel like sometimes some people, I mean, it's not just makeup artists, but like people that develop products and things like that, they get a little like, no, I'm not going to
It's
share with you because they're
yeah.
like territorial or whatever. So thank you so much for being so open. I do want to ask you about, you were saying something earlier about trademarks.
Oh yeah.
So can you share kind of like not only the importance of trademarks, but maybe like where is that like the first step they should take before they go see the lawyer, or what that process looks like, and that kind of stuff? Because I think trademarks are something that when you want to create a brand of any sort, it's something you should definitely get taken care of.
Right, right. Well, here's the thing too. So this is what I learned about trademarking and then getting a patent. You can't patent something that's already been developed. So it's really hard to, so say if you were a brand that wanted to, so I say if I wanted to create maybe like another palette or something, like an empty palette, that you could put like your palettes in, like everyone's depotting, and I wanted to, it's really hard to get to patent something like that because it's already been created, if that makes sense. It's easy to trade, it's easier and it's less costly to trademark something like that, because you could trademark specific things and qualities of that product. So again, going back to PockitBook, I can't, I don't own a patent. I can't patent something that's already been created. And that's like a lot of the things that are out there, unless you're inventing a Tesla car, you know what I mean? But a trademark, the route you could go, you could, this again, when I was researching this, I didn't have a lawyer at the time. And I met a lawyer through a friend of mine, because again, it's just through this community and that's so helpful during COVID. Um, and I went to, oh my God, why can't I think? LegalZoom? Is it LegalZoom? Okay, so that's where I got my LLC way before. So I actually created a DBA, Create Safely, of Beauty Technique Studio, which Beauty Technique Studio was my, my future like educational platform and salon. And so I created a DBA, and then you can actually get a trademark and go through LegalZoom. But then there's a lot of like there's a lot of things that you may miss doing it through a website. But I'm not saying it's the bad, like the worst route to go. But if you don't have a lawyer or somebody that you can trust, then definitely research that. But if you get a lawyer, they can help reduce the cost too. So it ends up being, you pay for them to do all the paperwork, but then when you process the trademark, it's actually cheaper. So it ends up kind of balancing out the cost if you were to do it yourself versus hiring a lawyer. The thing that's great about the lawyer is the lawyer will help see it through until you actually get the trademark registered. So it cost me probably about like $300 to get the paperwork done for both trademarks, so PockitBook and Create Safely. And but it takes about a year, maybe over a year. So I just got registered for Create Safely probably 2 months ago. So it's finally registered trademarked. I'm super excited. And then PockitBook it's in the final stages of being a registered trademark. And so that I think it's actually, if I go in now, what is it, November 14th? I'm pretty sure it's registered. So I have to go and research it. But my lawyer she'll send me updates like every 3 months. So if you can get a lawyer, do it. Thanks, Alyssa. Oh, your community on here is so
Yes, that's
nice.
amazing. I love, and it's like I said, I'm so excited for you to be so open about this because I've heard trademarks can take a really long time. So it's one of those things that once you start, you want to get on that. And LegalZoom, I personally use LegalZoom as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned, so you created your DBA under your LLC that already exists.
Yes.
So this will be like the last question that I ask you really quick. So when you created your LLC, did you create the LLC for you to do your services,
Yeah.
like your makeup services?
So what I did, because here in California, and I don't know where it is around the world, but I don't know if you guys remember, whoever's in California, they had passed this bill, and it was basically requiring freelancers, and it was only in California, to have an LLC in order to continue being hired into production work or things like that, in order for you to write your stuff off. So it was this whole thing about, and I think you guys remember the whole Uber thing where it was that bill that cost, like, if you get hired on as an I-9 or an independent contractor, um, what they wanted to stop doing was that you would not be hired on like that. You would be hired on as a W-2 employee. So this all happened like right before COVID. So I got the LLC, Amber, to your question, so I could still continue to do what I was doing. It was a very tricky time, but then obviously then COVID happened, and then I didn't have any work for under my LLC at all for like almost a year. But yeah, that's originally why I created it, was to um, reduce liability. So there was no personal liability if I were to get sued or anything like that. It would just be the LLC would protect my personal assets. So if you
Yeah,
don't have an LLC, I would advise to do one
same.
regardless. And then look into insurance too.
Insurance, yeah, all of that. And I I did a documentary and that's kind of why I opened my LLC, but then I realized like I could use it with my freelance
Yeah.
and it really protects you for multiple reasons. The biggest one being liability. If somebody were to come after you, they can't come after you personally, they come after your business. So it is, and Veronica made a really good point that the LLC is different. To be honest, the LLC is most likely completely different in the US versus anywhere else. We're talking, you and I, Christy, are talking about an LLC in the United States. And
Right.
even with the United States, from state to state, they work slightly different from my understanding. So definitely look up into wherever your region is, what the LLC does for you, how it protects you, how to get it, all that kind of stuff, because it's all different from country
Right.
to country to state to state. And even like the price of an LLC, because like in California, it's $800 a
Right.
year to keep it, whereas like here in Denver, where I am, it's like $80 a year or something.
Which is, yeah, it's so crazy. So, Alyssa, Elisa, you wrote, yes, AB5. It was the AB5 bill. I can't really tell you too much about it. I've had several IG lives on Create Safely about it. Um, but I don't know the answer to it. All I know is I'm still continuing to work, but now I'm in the union. So I just got into the hair union. Yeah, I'm really, thanks. So that's kind of, now I'm like a W-2 employee again and still doing freelance as well. But anyhow, there was one other thing I wanted to share, and it was a question that came up. Oh, here's the other thing. If you can start your business checking account now, if you haven't done so already, do it, because that will help you um, with all your bookkeeping and all your tax stuff at the end of the year. So especially if you're going to start a new product in a business, definitely get that into place. Now, if you do it after, like I did, I had everything like connected to my personal account. Don't worry, it's fine. Like, don't be hard on yourself. You're not, every time I like think about my taxes, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail for like tax fraud. And my bookkeeper's like, no, don't worry, Christy. You're not going to get like tax fraud or anything. Um, there's a whole process with taxes. And if you guys have any questions about that, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I would share any information I know about collecting. There's like something in California, it's called sales and use tax, I think for every state. And then also you've got to make sure that you have a business license in the city that you're in, because even if you're in the city of Los Angeles, which I am, I still live in a city that requires a business license in the city I'm in, like the county. It's really interesting. So
Yes,
wow.
lots of very specific things and laws and everything like that. So yeah,
But
I mean, I'm going to be asking you questions. Huh?
yeah, don't let it overwhelm you, because as I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, getting a little hot. But it's totally worth it. And if you can learn from my challenges, just do all your research now and get all of the legal things in place if you can before you actually like launch your product.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing so much with us. I appreciate it. I learned a lot this session myself. And before we bid our farewells, I wanted to have you just mention any last bit of advice that you have for artists to be more confident with marketing. What would you suggest to them?
I think definitely my best advice would be to utilize your community, and don't be afraid to talk about your ideas. Don't be afraid to take risks. I mean, was never an influencer before I created Create Safely. I've never I was a creative director and created like I saw like different videos get developed, and I was part of that process, but I was never the actual person doing it on social media, because it's scary. I mean, you always feel like people are going to judge you and people aren't going to like you. And my best advice is that if you're creating a product, find a good, trusty network. Don't be afraid to take risks. Get everything lined up, have all of your legal stuff in place, and just do it. Don't hold back. I mean, I know Amber said like we get really closed off and we don't want to share, but if you don't put it, even if you're not sharing the actual idea, if you don't share the fact that you want to create something, you have something, you'll never manifest, hence manifesting. You'll never manifest these types of people that will come into your space, So the more that you talk about what it is that you're trying to achieve in life, and the more that you visualize, because I'm a huge visualizer, and I set my intentions and I always visualize what's going to happen. And I truly believe if you do those two things all the time, things will really line up in place for you. So
Oh my gosh, she literally was just talking about things that we talked about yesterday with like mindset and manifesting.
oh
So that's
really?
awesome. See,
Hey.
you guys, y'all, it works, visualizing everything. So once again, Chrissy, thank you so much for giving you our time, and giving us your time, and also
Yeah.
just being here and sharing all of your amazing wisdom. It was super eye-opening for me. I have questions for you, so like you'll be hearing
Oh
from
my
me.
God, please. We will be in touch forever. And you guys, thank you so much. I just want to quickly go through. You're so welcome, Vivian.
Yes.
Veronica, my girl Veronica from Canada. She's here. Thanks so much. I don't know who the Facebook users are, but it's such a pleasure to meet all of you. And please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I am working on a show that's been shooting since September. And it's 5 days a week. And you guys know how production is long days. If I get back to you later than sooner, I apologize, but I definitely will respond. So please reach out anytime and continue to lead with love and support one another. There is room at the table for everybody. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
amen to
you,
that.
Amber.
You're
You guys have a good
welcome.
rest of the training, okay?
What'd
Talk
you say?
soon. Good. Have a good rest of the boot camp.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christy. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and take her off the screen. Once again, just take one more glimpse of the beautiful soul that we have in this space, Christy. Go follow her, reach out to her, ask her. She's an open book, as you guys can see. So make sure you stay in contact with
Oh,
Christy.
and then really quick, Amber,
Mhm.
I told you I was going to donate a micro kit.
Yes, yes, yes. We had the winner yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay, okay.
Yes.
Well, you'll have to DM me and let me know who they are so I can
Yes, I
congratulate.
will. I definitely
All
will.
right,
So,
guys. Thank you so much.
yes, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. Wow. Woo! Sorry if that was too loud. That was exciting. You guys, can I just say really quick, Christy is like, wow, it's I love hearing from makeup artists that are doing big things. I was saying earlier about the whole kind of like influencer, like that word, unfortunately, someone along the line just like made that word like a bad word. She is an influencer. Like she's literally influencing our industry. She's obviously influencing you guys and me. Like how cool was it that she just shared all that information? Y'all, I'm going to be hitting her up. So if you have a vision, if you have something that you want to make, a product, if you want to do something like this where you're creating challenges, boot camps, we actually have somebody that's inside the inner circle that's just started their own membership site for people who want to learn makeup tricks on a monthly basis. Like if you have a vision, write it down, get the mindset right, get all your ducks in a row, work on that confidence, market, consistently show up. I mean, you guys, Christy would not have the platform that she created if she didn't show up consistently when she created it. Same thing with PockitBook, consistently putting it out in front of people. Same thing goes with just services, talking about your services, sharing it with the people that you want to share it with, right? So just remember that you have to keep going and show up consistently in pretty much all of these areas that we're talking about. Show up consistently with your mindset work, your self-care, your self-development, showing up consistently with your marketing, and then showing up consistently with taking inspired action, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, but we'll leave that part to tomorrow. All right, so before I completely sign off, I knew today and tomorrow will probably be the longer days. So we are hitting the 2-hour mark. So thank you for those that are still with me and watching the replay. So really quick, before I sign off officially, I wanted to share with you guys something I'm really excited about. Okay. So this only happens a couple times a year, which is the inner circle doors are in fact open. So I've been kind of talking here and there about inner circle members and the membership site. So basically the inner circle is a monthly membership site for makeup artists at any level, no matter what, if you're at the beginning or if you're like, we have some people that are like 20 years in that just want to stay in this type of energetic space of inspired action, motivation, self-development, marketing. This is a membership site that I created after wanting to do it for many, many, many years until I finally took action on it, which is something I'm talking to you guys. You guys just take action. And it's something that I wanted to develop for so long. And I finally created it last year during COVID because I finally was like, I'm just going to do it. So it was a vision I had for myself to create an online platform where every single month there was new content for makeup artists in the form of goal setting, mentorship, and actual master classes, which in the inner circle we call success kits. So with the inner circle, right now there's already 13 master classes that exist, everything from men's grooming 101 to Instagram marketing. We've got right now we have an entire 21 days of Reiki that I'm doing with our current members where they're receiving Reiki for 21 days. It's basically a healing energy, which I'll talk about tomorrow. And basically we talk about human design, we talk about meditation, we talk about marketing yourself on social media. confidence boosting. There's a lot. There's 13 masterclass. I'm like missing a bunch right now. Can't really like fully remember exactly. But every other month, there's new content, a new masterclass that we put out. And there's different guest experts that we bring in to talk with you guys and teach you guys different things. And it is the most incredible space. The number one like feedback that I get from our current members is how much they love the community. Like obviously like the master classes are bomb, like, you know, totally there's amazing stuff in there, but the community is amazing. We do live goal setting sessions every single month. We do live mentorship and group Reiki sessions every single month. And the beautiful mentors that you guys see here, Sabrina and Elisa, are both also your accountability mentors inside the inner circle, and they are with you once a month to hold you accountable. So this whole accountability aspect is something I'm obsessed with. So we, the inner circle and the What It Takes team, we're here for your success. So we want to support you as much as we possibly can throughout every single month. Okay. So there are some amazing things that our members have manifested. We're talking like, you know, getting on agency rosters, getting with Netflix, you know, deals and stuff like that, working with their dream clients. Like I said earlier, Danielle, she actually just started her own membership site. Like these artists are doing really amazing things, and it's all in this really amazing energetic space. So right now the doors are open. In the description of this particular video, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, the link for you guys to check out that landing page for all the information. It's going to be $29 a month for you to access all of that, or there's an annual option. Now, the annual option is something that's new, and I'm excited to offer, because if you pay the annual price of $288, essentially what you're going to get as bonuses for doing the annual pricing is you're going to get a one-on-one distant Reiki session with me, which I usually charge $111 for. And then you're also getting 2 master classes courses that I offer separately from the Inner Circle, which is the men's grooming course and the 4-week social media program, all for only $288. Just so you guys like to put in perspective, money-wise, the Reiki session that I always charge for one-on-one is $111. The 4-week boot camp the 4-week program for social media for makeup artists, that's $267. And then the men's grooming course, $111. And then you get the price of it's basically $4 off the monthly price. All of that is like over $700 that you're essentially getting for only $288. It's a really great price, to say the least, okay? So, and you get it for an entire year. So check out that landing page. The link is in the description of the video that you are watching right now, wherever that might be. And then I'll also be sending out a replay email like I did today with all this information as well, okay? So we want to welcome you into the Inner Circle. We literally have this energy inside the Inner Circle, and I'm really excited for those that are going to be joining us in this next wave of artists that's going to be joining. So definitely sign up. If you're really feeling called to it, do it now. Just so you know, every single time that we open the doors for the Inner Circle, the rates go up, like the monthly rate. So when you sign up, you're locked into that rate. All right. So we started like back when we first started. Some people are in for like $11 a month. Y'all are lucky bitches. Okay. But they are locked in that price because they started at the very beginning, like literally day one. Now, since it's so robust, we have literally over 13 master classes, and every single month you're getting goal setting, mentorship, accountability, so on and so forth. It has gone up to 29, and it's just going to keep growing. So if you want to take advantage of this, take advantage of it now. That annual price, that's definitely the way to go. You're really getting a good deal with that. This is the only time that it will be that price. Okay. So very, very exciting. I'm so excited to open the doors again. I get excited every single time because it's something I've been so passionately visualizing for the longest time. It's my passion to bring this type of content to you guys every single month. So if you guys like the boot camp, you're going to fucking love the inner circle, to say the least. All right. Yes, Elisa says such an uplifting community. Seriously, you guys, everybody is so just welcoming and warming and supportive with each other. Yes, and I think that Sabrina says, yeah, we're totally here for you all. Very, very much true. Kiana is in there as well. She is like an avid, like she is just like has truly embodied the inner circle. And she's definitely between her, Elisa, and Sabrina. You can ask them questions. Feel free if you have any questions about the inner circle, feel free to ask them. They'll be totally awesome, like totally honest with you guys about their experiences and things like that. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this boot camp. And tomorrow we will be talking all about inspired action. And I will be doing a little mini Reiki session with you guys at the beginning. And we have another guest, I always want to call it speaker, guest artist, Anita Aguilar. You guys know her from my Manifesting Money podcast. Anita for the win. She's going to be talking about her manifesting journey, her makeup journey, and also how she grew on TikTok. Like we're talking nearly 300,000. She might even be at 300,000 right now. I don't know. So very, very exciting. Tomorrow's going to be a big day as well. So I will see you guys for day 3. If you have any questions, really quick, before I let y'all go, I got to make sure I tell you what the challenge is because y'all want to win some stuff, right? So really quick, let me get that. Hold on. Bear with me. I got to make sure you guys know what the challenge is. It should be posted in the Facebook group right now, but just in case it didn't. All right. And it's also in your workbook, but I just want to announce it verbally so you guys know exactly what to do. Okay, so. Okay, day 2 challenge. So what you're going to do for today's challenge to win, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and announce what the prize is for tomorrow. I'm not going to keep it a guessing game for day 2-ish, 3, whatever. You are going to win the Social Media for Makeup Artists program. So one of you will win that particular 4-week program. So we're talking all about like marketing, right? And I told you guys there's so much to go over. It literally is in a 4-week program. Like it's a lot of information. So one of you guys will be winning that for tomorrow. So for day 2's challenge, share where you are currently with self-promotion and what you will be doing to up your marketing game in the challenge thread. You can also add that into you're going to put that in the Facebook group, but if you're not in the Facebook group, just answer, like type that, your answer for the challenge in the YouTube comments. Or if for whatever reason you don't want to do that, you can also do the challenge on Instagram stories. You just make sure that you tag what it takes _MUA. All right. So that's your challenge. Make sure you fill out your workbooks. There's more resources with people that I really love to follow for Instagram hacks. Jasmine Star is probably my favorite. I actually forgot to add, there's one other person for Instagram hacks that is amazing. It's Shalene Johnson. I'm a huge fan of her. Vanessa, I don't know how, Lau is her last name. Natalie Ellis from Boss Babe, and also Elise Dharma. Those 4 girls /5, because I added Shalene in there, boss ass bitches, like amazing people to learn from when it comes to Instagram. If you guys have any like questions, doubts, you need ideas or anything like that, they're definitely people to look out for. Okay. Awesome. So Jasmine says, share where you are currently with self. Oh, yes. Sorry. Jasmine, she just put the challenge in there. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, Jasmine. Okay. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And for those of you that are going to be joining the inner circle, I can't wait to welcome you and give you a huge virtual hug. And until tomorrow, I guess I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. All right. So have a wonderful night, you guys. Thank you again. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.